What's up, everyone? In this episode, we're going to discuss the very important question: do you even need a lawyer? My answer may surprise you. Let's talk about it. So, do you need an attorney? It's kind of a nuanced question, to be honest, and it depends. It depends. So let's talk about the two areas that I practice in: criminal defense and immigration. The easy one first: criminal defense. Pretty much in every single criminal defense case, if anybody who is charged with a crime of any sort, however minor, needs to at least speak to an attorney. Courts will appoint you a public defender if two things qualify. First of all, do you financially qualify in the sense that you don't make very much money? And two, courts will generally not appoint a public defender where the particular crime charge doesn't carry with it a possibility or reasonable possibility anyways of probation or jail. So, for example, a minor in possession case, first offense, it's not likely you're going to get probation or jail for that type of thing, and they generally won't appoint a public defender no matter how low means or how poor you are, just to put it bluntly. However, even in those situations, where the court won't appoint you a public defender or they don't find you eligible for a public defender, you owe it to yourself to at least speak to a lawyer. Most criminal defense attorneys out there that I know of offer free initial consultations. Do yourself a favor, at least talk to somebody. Criminal cases, at least speak to a lawyer. If probation or jail is involved and the court will not, for some reason, appoint you a public defender, probably because you make too much money, you should do yourself a favor and hire one. Hire a criminal defense attorney, because it is brutal trying to represent yourself. I'm a criminal defense attorney, and if I was, God forbid, ever charged with a crime, I would hire an attorney for myself as well. It's just the reality of the thing. You need an attorney when you're in this process. Immigration. Should I get an attorney for an immigration case? That is a question I get all the time. Because some could look at or can Google, like, for example, an I-130 form or a N-400 naturalization form and say, you know what, this is easy, I can totally do it. And the reality is you probably can. You probably can. It's not rocket science. I tell my clients that a typical case, of course, every case is different. Some cases are far more complicated than others because of the history of each individual's immigration case. But a standard, no complications type of naturalization, N-400 case, for example, should be pretty easy, even for somebody who's never done it before. If a typical green card holder, for example, has never done an N-400 application because, they're working on their first citizenship case, their own. But kind of similar to the criminal defense thing where I said that if I was charged with a crime, I would still hire a criminal defense attorney. The same reasoning applies to any immigration case. It's a different thing when you represent yourself, even on a simple thing, even on a simple N-400. A particular mistake could end up costing money. It could end up costing time. It could end up costing you the case for some reason. And I kind of analogize it to somebody who wants to do a do-it-yourself project at home. I mean, people who know me know there's no chance I'm doing any kind of do-it-yourself project at home. I am absolutely the opposite of handyman. Whatever the opposite of that is, that's who I am. But one could perhaps Google it, how to tile one's floor, for example. Take the time and the effort to tile your own floor, or you can give it to an expert. somebody who practices immigration law on regularly, every day. Somebody who has done many, many naturalization applications before. Somebody who has done many family-based petitions before, for example. Because you never know what might come up. You've never done one before, and so you don't want to make yourself the guinea pig. So even in the most simple of immigration cases, I would still advocate getting an attorney. But at the end of the day, attorneys, private attorneys such as our firm and many others, we're not cheap, and sometimes it's unrealistic to hire one. And so an attorney might be more of a luxury versus a necessity in the most basic of immigration applications. Now, you add in any complication whatsoever, then at that point, you got to think, I better get an attorney. You are messing with fire when you deal with immigration with a bureaucracy such as USCIS, for example, or God forbid, deportation court or removal court. You are playing with fire if you think you can represent yourself in any of those cases. But you got to balance the financial with what is at stake and how complicated it is. My answer, I guess, to the immigration attorney question is you probably do. You probably need a lawyer, but you got to look at your own financial situation before you make that final call. With criminal defense, you absolutely need one. And at worst case scenario, you can at least get a free initial consult with a criminal defense attorney, but do not go into it blind. Do yourself a favor and avoid that. Thanks, and I will see you next week.